3 players are offside. But Mr. Altwell decided to take another point, another moment in the game. The second goal is a misunderstanding, obviously. We said before the game, we need to get used to each other. We had time, but this is a situation where we probably should shout. I didn't hear anybody shouting. And the third one, I really don't like. We are too open for in that situation.
You think you've got a penalty?
Wasn't filling me with much confidence because I don't think he knew what was going on. He was getting told this in his ear, didn't know what signals he was doing and stuff. But got the goal in the end. We had a little change of the shape, credit to the gaffer. We went into a diamond, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it just changed the dynamic of the game a little bit. We had more numbers in the middle of the pitch and we were able to break out with them missing Fabinho and Henderson in the middle. They're probably more vulnerable on the counter-attack at the minute, and the game turned on its head in about 6-7 minutes, didn't it? So a brilliant win for us.
That young man certainly has a future in punditry when he wants it, there's no question about that. Leicester go second. Feel free to eulogise to your heart's content about
Look
that
at him
performance.
smiling, he's got a grin, hasn't he?
He hasn't stopped, has he?
Not biased.
They were brilliant. I mean, Liverpool will rightly say about the injuries that have been hurting them, and they have. But when you look at the Leicester team today, missing Castagna, Justin, Fofana, all players who would be in that starting 11. So they are an impressive outfit, Leicester, with a superb manager. They've got a system of playing. And I know they tried to get the ball forward early into Vardy, which is a key and a huge part of their game, but I thought they were extra special at doing that today. They spotted the weakness in a Liverpool team, and their first thought all afternoon was that. And if you're not going to have pressure on the ball, which Jermaine will talk about in a minute, and allow passes in and in behind, and you're constantly going to play a high line, it's dreamland for Jamie Vardy, for Harvey Barnes. Same thing again. First thought, ball into the forwards, particularly that guy Vardy, and he'll have a field day. Same thing again, forward. Again, look at the high line that Liverpool are playing. The ball in behind. I mean, what on earth the goalkeeper's doing there, coming out that far? He has to collect the ball when he's made that decision. But it's the thought of getting the ball into one of those two. It's a complete mess up from the goalkeeper. He's got to take the ball there. Harvey Barnes, so impressive in front of the watching England manager. He had a positive afternoon. First thought, look, he goes past 3 defenders as if they're not there. Really unlucky not to see that go in the back of the net, and Vardy should finish that off. But same thing again, they win the ball back in the midfield. First pass forward, second pass forward, in again. He'd missed one opportunity, he wasn't going to miss another one. It's in the back of the net, and I just thought they were deadly and showing the character that they did to come back from going 1-0 behind and then turning that performance into what they did. I thought it was superb.
Alan mentioned Liverpool's injuries, but what's gone wrong?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about their midfield, and I think even Maddison just picked up on it as well in terms of where they've been weak. I don't think they definitely haven't got the legs in there right now. And when you've just got one link, either weak or missing in any chain, it breaks down. And I think it was clear today when they're trying to play this high press. For me, Thiago was probably a really weak component without the ball for them.
I'll say one thing to you on that Thiago, when he's played for Bayern Munich for quite some time,
been fine at it.
Also played a very high press.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
But, so it's just within this system at the minute. So whether it's just the fact that his presses at Bayern Munich were different times and so on than they are for Liverpool, it just seems quite clear to me that he's doing things that maybe he shouldn't be doing. Like in this case here, I feel like he runs himself out of the game. He's going to press somebody with his 3 Leicester players around him. He's run himself out of the game and just popped it around him easily. If he holds his position, it's much more difficult. 1 pass, 2 passes, they're in behind and running at that Liverpool defensive line. Here you've got 3 Leicester players, all in a great position because the ball's gone long, it's going to be headed out, so they're in a great position to win that second ball. The midfielders need to get up with play. The back 4 of Liverpool need to say, get up. The midfield 2, you get up, give us a chance of winning this second ball. They don't. They're late again. I feel like Thiago's late to the press there again. He's run himself out of play. Liverpool, for some reason, have decided to leave themselves 2v2 at the back with one of the most formidable players in Premier League history when it comes to making runs in behind into space in Jamie Vardy. Exposed himself again. Now, there were some other worrying components. I mean, body language of Roberto Firmino here. Anybody want to kind of press and get after players? No, quite happy to just stand and watch. All this space and time for any midfielder, when you have got that much space to drop the ball into, is an absolute dream. If it's a better ball, Vardy's in because the space was there to hit him. Now, I think Jurgen Klopp mentioned about the last goal really upsetting him. There's Thiago and Kabak and Wijnaldum right next to Harvey Barnes. For some reason, Thiago has just decided, I'm just going to not mark him. Whether it's a legs thing, whether he's not feeling the pace of getting up to the pace of the game, that is just not good enough. You know, there are so many factors in that midfield display that are easy to expose.
And also confidence is important. And if you look at this Premier League form table that we've got here from the last 10 games, they line in 15th place, which you wouldn't have considered that possible a few weeks ago. 9 points, just 9 goals.
No, obviously confidence is a huge thing in football. We've all been there where you lose a game and you have that self-doubt. But remember when we used to say about the Liverpool press is that if you're going to get out from the back and be brave and play out from the back, then you have to do it right. You have to do it correct and be sharp at it, because Liverpool would be after you. Now, I don't see that energy now, which is understandable because of the number of games, because of injuries
it is different this season.
to players, but they're maybe going in ones and twos, and you can't afford to do that. And if you don't get that, and if you don't press, there's no way you can play a high line like Liverpool are continuing to do, particularly when you're playing against someone with the experience and the pace of Jamie Vardy.
Indeed. We should have a look at the VAR because Jurgen Klopp wasn't happy. He felt it was offside, even though VAR. He didn't moan about the fact that the penalty was overruled.
Well, I think it's clear here. You see that, the foot of Firmino, and we've seen this numerous times. We all kind of get angry about it, and at times I've been upset about it. But the facts are, he's in an onside position, and I think he should be more concerned with the positioning of the line. Should have been much higher up, really. So that's what cost them.
And how the ball gets in there. I mean, the ball doesn't go above waist height anyway, and it passes everyone at the near post.
OK. Now, when Manchester City lost to Tottenham in November, they finished the weekend in 13th place. Less than 3 months later, they were odds-on title favourites and on a record-breaking run of 15 wins in all competitions.